Okay. Check. We're going to make sure that everything is working the way that it's supposed to. Make sure that we're up on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. It looks like we're up on all of our platforms. Get everything all set up here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And make sure that we get everything ready. Check my levels, make sure that my sound is good, make sure everybody can hear me. Okay. Looks like the sound is good, looks like the video is good. All right, we're gonna wait for another minute or two. Sometimes this takes a minute or two to make sure that everything gets through to all the platforms, and then we're gonna get started. We're all good to go. This is great. This is great. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Last week's live was really great, really interactive. Yeah, people tuning in from all over the place, so thank you so much. I've received quite a few messages from people who watched the replay. So I want to say thank you to anybody who watched the replay last week as well. Always make sure that if you have any questions, just leave them in the comments, and I will always get back to you and answer your questions or any comments that you have. Destiny, good evening, Destiny. Good to see you here. Where are you tuning in from? Let everybody know where you're tuning in from, Destiny. We're going to get started in a second, but as you're coming in, please let me know, where are you tuning in from, everyone? I'm tuning in live from Toronto, Canada right now. Thank you all so much for being here. All of the viewers that tap in from wherever you're from. Let's get started. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this session, this live masterclass on how to bounce back from a setback. Now, look, I don't have to tell you that sometimes it's really difficult to have a goal or a dream and to really, really want something. And you put some time and some energy and some effort into that. And maybe you make a little bit of progress, and then something happens to derail you. Has this ever happened to you? Are you the type of person who sometimes gets, stuck in place from a setback or a failure or a mistake, and you find it hard to get back on track? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to be sharing some tools and some resources and some of the things that I've been learning from my coaches and my seminars to help you bounce back quicker from a setback. And I know what that's like. I've failed at so many things in my life. I've had big goals and big dreams, and I fell short. And there have been times where I was just discouraged from restarting. I just thought, why bother? I put so much time and energy into this thing, and it just didn't happen. So why try again? And I've been there. I've been there many times. But how do we bounce back? How do we get back up? How do we restart on a big goal or a big dream when we've been discouraged, sometimes more than once? Sometimes that discouragement can last not just a few weeks, not just a few months, but it can last years. And so for us, we have to figure out a few things, and we're going to talk about some of those things. But one of the most important things we have to figure out is, is this really worth the energy and the time that I want to put into this thing? And I think a lot of people just don't ask themselves that question. We're going to get into a bunch of powerful questions to ask yourself. I'm going to give you 3 lessons that I learned to help me bounce back and help my coaching clients bounce back much quicker than we ever could. And at the end, I have something special that's really going to help you to supercharge your success and break through limiting beliefs, bounce back, get clear about what you want. So I'll talk to you about that a little bit later. Destiny is tuning in from Toronto, Canada. I see some other people tuning in here. So just let me know where you're tuning in from. I love this quote. I use this quote often because it speaks to me. A setback is nothing but a setup for a comeback. That's what Dr. Willie Jolly said. And I love this quote because it gives us a different perspective on a setback. It gives us a new look at a failure, a mistake, or a misstep. And it's hard to see when you're in it, right? Isn't it so difficult to see a different perspective when you are stuck, when you're held in place, when something didn't work out? Isn't it very difficult to look at it as a setup for a comeback? And so a lot of the work that we have to do to bounce back, to get back out there, to try again, it starts in our minds. It starts with the way that we think about that failure, the way that we think about that setback. And I want to be clear about this. I hear a lot of people want to change words. They want to say, well, I didn't really fail. It was a lesson. I didn't really fail. I kind of just took a misstep over there. And when I want to be clear about this, because people who are champions, people who strive for greatness, people who have high levels of success, people who are able to do what they want to do on their own terms, they don't run from the word failure. They don't run from failure. And I think sometimes we try to soften the blow and not use failure and to try to soften it with other words. And to me, if I fail, I fail. However, there are lessons in the failure. There's things that we can learn. There's things we can take from the failure. So for me, I'm not the type of person to try to deviate, to try to say that's not a failure, to try to lighten it, because there's something about feeling the pain of failing for a lot of people that lights a fire under them and makes them want to get up and figure it out and go around and through and take those lessons and try again. And I think for some of us, we don't want to feel pain. We don't want to feel awkwardness. We don't want to feel discouragement. And what we don't understand is that in all of that, there's something that we need that lights something within us, a spark, a fire, a passion, a desire. And so when you think about it, I've had people in my family who've been addicted to all kinds of things. They've been addicted to drugs. They've been addicted to multiple things. And the way that some of them who've moved through that were able to move through it was they had to sit in the pain. They had to feel the pain. They had to call it what it was. Those relatives didn't say, I like this particular drug or I like alcohol. They said, no, I'm a drug addict. I'm an alcoholic. See, you have to call things what they are to feel the pain, so that lights a fire in you. And so I just want to be clear about that. That's just from me personally. I just find that sometimes when we have a setback, we don't want to acknowledge that it's painful, that it's hurtful. I'm not saying that we should want to feel pain. I'm saying that failure is a part of life. I'm saying setbacks are a part of life. Mistakes are a part of life. And so us trying to maneuver our way out of it and say, well, it's not really pain. It's not really that hurtful. It's not really a failure. It's kind of. No, it is. It is. And I've had to say that to myself, and it was hard. The good thing about it is when we can learn to change our perspective, to change our mindset, we start to understand that setbacks are just a part of life. They're going to happen. And the way that we bounce back is by building resilience. You're resilient. You've been through things before. You've been through difficult things before. You've accomplished things that you never thought you could accomplish. So you have that resilience inside of you. And when you understand that you have that resilience inside of you, and you understand that failures and setbacks happen in life, then you can start to look at it from a new and a different perspective. It doesn't mean that you have to like it. It doesn't mean it's not painful. It doesn't mean it's not hurtful. It just means that you understand that sometimes things don't go your way, and you got to take that information and do something with that information to push forward or to be better the next time. Let me know if this is making sense to you. I have 3 lessons that I learned that helped me bounce back over the years. Myself, my coaching clients. One of the things about me is at least 20 or 25 years ago, I made a decision that I wanted to become a heightened version of myself. You know, growing up in low-income housing, I never had big dreams. I had the quote-unquote hoop dream where, you know, a lot of young black kids who grew up in low-income housing, they want to go to the NBA. And that's kind of just there, but a lot of us don't think that that's a real dream. But other than that, I never had a lot of big dreams because my environment and the way that I thought in that environment didn't really allow me to think bigger and to dream bigger. So I had to make a decision that, you know what? Where I grew up, the environment that I'm in has nothing to do with me wanting more for my life. It has nothing to do with me going out there and getting information, reading books, watching videos on YouTube, surrounding myself with positive, powerful people, hiring coaches and mentors. So over 20 years ago, I made up my mind that I want to continue to learn and to grow, and I want to learn from my mistakes. I want to be around people who have done things that I want to do. And that's what this is about. These are 3 lessons that really helped me to bounce back from setbacks and failures because of the coaching, because of studying successful people, because of my mentors. And I want to share 3 really important lessons with you that may just help you to bounce back or to push through something that you're going through. That sound good? Before we get into that, and before I get into the lessons, I have a question for you. What is a major goal or a dream that you haven't been able to achieve yet? Let me know in the chat. Let me know a big goal or a big dream that you haven't been able to achieve yet. And if you're watching this on the replay, definitely put it in the comment. I would love to hear your big goal or your big dream that you have not been able to achieve. You know, for me, I have this fitness goal that I've been going in and out of. And I want to achieve this goal. And I always get on this path of trying to achieve this goal for 4 or 5 months. And then I talk myself out of it. And then I go for another 3 or 4 months and talk myself out of it. And about 5 months ago, I made up my mind that this is it. I am going to achieve this goal. I'm going to have the discipline and the focus to achieve my fitness goal. And so I've been locked in on this fitness goal for the last 5 months. I'm starting to see more results than I have ever seen before, but I haven't achieved it yet. And I have to stay focused. So that's one of my big goals that I have right now. It's this fitness goal that I have that I really want to achieve that I haven't been able to achieve before. And I'm really set on making sure that I do the things that I need to do to make it happen. But let me know, what's a big goal or a big dream that you have that you haven't been able to achieve yet? Curious to know. As you're thinking about that, that's the first thing I want to ask you. What's a major goal or dream that you haven't been able to achieve yet? Something that you really want. Something that when you think about it, it lights you on fire. You really want this thing, but you haven't been able to achieve it yet. Maybe you haven't even started because you think that it's impossible. Maybe you started and you stopped, and you started and you stopped. Or maybe you started, you made some progress, and you got discouraged, and then you never restarted. whatever that is, I want you to lock that into your mind. Whatever that goal or that dream is that you have not achieved yet, I want you to lock it into your mind. I want you to start thinking about it often. I want you to start writing it down. I want you to start visualizing it, because these are powerful tools that are going to help you to see that dream as a reality. The next question I have for you is, what's held you back? What's held you back from achieving that goal or that dream? So when you think about that big goal or that big dream that you have, the other question is, what has held you back? Why haven't you been able to achieve that so far? And this requires some honesty. In the last live that I did, the last masterclass, I talked a lot about being honest with yourself, giving yourself what I call a reality check. And in that reality check, you got to be real with yourself. You have this big goal or this big dream, maybe many, and there's these goals or dreams that you haven't been able to achieve. You got to ask yourself this one question: what has held me back from achieving that goal or that dream? Now, I'm going to keep it real with you. For me, with my fitness goal, I've had this goal off and on for years, and I've committed to it and then fallen off track. And I think a few of the things for me that held me back from achieving this is, one, I didn't commit to a fitness and a nutrition program. And I realized that I needed to commit to a nutrition program. And I didn't do that. I was always kind of okay with the fitness, but I was always falling off with the nutrition. The other thing for me that is a real big setback that stopped me from achieving this goal or this dream was I wasn't visualizing success as much as I should have. See, I had this fitness goal and I kind of had it in my mind, but I wasn't visualizing success. And that was a big thing that it has been holding me back from achieving this goal and this dream. And I would say the third thing is I didn't make my why compelling enough. I didn't make the reason why I want to achieve this fitness goal big enough up until recently. Now I have my big why. Now I have a nutrition plan. Now I have a fitness plan. But over the years, I never had that. And those were some of the things that held me back from achieving that goal or that dream. So if you have a goal or a dream, go ahead. You can let me know in the chat something that's held you back from achieving that goal or that dream. I want to get into some lessons here. One of the things I want to share with you is a setback or a failure is preparation for success. It's hard to see it that way when you're struggling. It's hard to see it that way when you don't have the thing that you really want. And that thing could be anything. It could be the job that you want, the business. It can be the career. It can be anything. But a setback or failure is preparation for success. Tyrone Edwards said fear. Fear gets in the way. And that's a reality. Fear gets in the way of so many of us taking action. And one of the things that I want to talk about, what I've realized over the years is when you know what you want, and it's very, very clear, it's crystal clear. You've written it down, you visualized it, you know what you want, and you have a compelling reason why you want that thing. The more clear you are about those two things, the less and less fear you have about taking action or making it happen. The less and less you care about other people's opinions who aren't supporting you. I noticed this. I used to be somebody who cared deeply about what other people have to say about my goals and my dreams. I was terrified of failing. I was like, well, what if I fail? What are people going to say? And here's the thing about failure. We're so concerned about what other people have to say about our goals and our dreams, but here's the thing. They have their own goals and dreams that they haven't taken action on, right? You have parents and siblings and cousins and friends and followers who haven't taken action on their own goals and dreams. Yet we're concerned about what they have to say about us being brave enough to take action and at least make an attempt to make that goal or that dream a reality. So fear is a real thing. I'm not saying that I'm not afraid. I'm saying I'm less afraid because I understand that the mission and what I'm trying to achieve is bigger than other people's opinions. When your mission is bigger than other people's opinions, that fear starts to diminish. That fear of failure, that fear of other people's opinions, that fear of success, it starts to diminish. And so I love that. Thank you so much for being honest there. So lesson number 1 is really about a setback or failure is preparation for success. And here's what we don't understand. We look at social media. We look at highly, quote unquote, successful people, whether it's people who have the money that we want or live in the lifestyle that we want or have the freedom that we want. We look at these individuals and we only see the wins. We see what they have. We see where they are. We don't see all the failures. We don't see the 8 or 9 years of struggle. We don't see people living on their sister or their brother's couch. We don't see all that stuff. And if we saw more of that, we would understand that failure is a part of the process. You can't have success without failure. There's nobody who's won at everything. There's people who maybe had career success, but then they struggle with their family or they struggle with their health. So nobody is perfect at everything. Nobody is always winning in all of the areas that matter in their life. So we have to understand that failure is a part of success. Mama Stone just tapped in. Good evening, Mom. Marcia Stone's in the building. So how do we start to conquer that inner critic? Quiet that critic that says you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. What if you fail? How do we conquer that inner critic? And we have a lot of negative chatter, right? We talked about where that comes from, but how do we conquer that inner critic? Well, here's a few things that we can do. Start your day with more gratitude. Do you know that two opposing thoughts can't live in your mind at the exact same time? You can't be fearful and grateful at the same time. It's impossible. So think about that. In the moment that you're afraid to get started or you're afraid to restart, step back and think about what you're grateful for. Maybe you're grateful that you had an opportunity to try before. Maybe you're grateful that you're in a place that you have a goal or a dream because before you didn't. Maybe you're just grateful for life. You're grateful for the things that you have. When you get into gratitude, it actually opens up this gateway to new opportunities and new perspectives. So one way to conquer that inner critic is to get into gratitude. Every single morning, I start my day as a part of my morning ritual. I start with 3 to 5 things that I'm grateful for every single day. And I write them down. And what I try to do is try not to repeat those things over and over again. So if you can start with gratitude and throughout the day, when you get these limiting thoughts and you get these challenging thoughts about, oh, you tried that before, why are you trying it again? Oh, you remember what your dad said? Remember that time you tried it? Your dad told you were never going to do it? Well, remember what your wife or your husband said? When you start to get those voices in your head, just understand that it's normal. It's natural. We all have this fear of something that we haven't been able to do yet. But when you get into gratitude and you start being thankful for the opportunity, the idea, the perspective, then we start to have an opposing thought to that inner critic. Another thing we can do is affirmations. What are you saying to and about yourself? Now, A lot of people don't understand how powerful words are. Words are very powerful. If they weren't, wars wouldn't be started and people wouldn't fall in love. It's words followed by actions. And what are you saying to yourself every single day? What are the types of words that you're using? Are you using very limiting words, very defeated words? Or are you using very powerful words? We know that two of the most powerful words in the English language are I am, because what follows that can become your reality. So what are you saying to yourself throughout the day? What are the words that you're saying? For me, when I look in the mirror every single day, I say these powerful affirmations because it helps me to conquer this inner critic. Another thing that we can do to conquer that inner critic is this thing called catch, release, replace. Now, I talked about this in my other master class, but I'll just go over it again for you really quickly here. Every time we have this negative thought, there's this method that I designed called catch, release, replace. So what we want to do is catch that negative thought. Because what's happening is your brain is trying to protect you. Your brain says, uh-oh, you tried this before and it didn't work, or this is something new, or you're going to be uncomfortable. So your brain tries to protect you with some negative thoughts. But what we want to do is we want to catch it. We want to thank our brain for trying to protect us, and we want to release it, let it go like a cloud in the sky. And then we want to replace it with something more powerful and positive. That's called catch, release, replace. So every time that you have a negative thought where I can't do this, or I don't know how, or I tried before, I want you to stop that, shut it down, catch it, thank your brain for trying to protect you, release it like a cloud in the sky, just let it go, and replace it with something more powerful and positive. That's a tool that you can use to quiet that inner critic. Reprogramming your mind. See, our minds are supercomputers, right? Our brains are supercomputers. Whatever we put into it is going to be our output. So what are you programming into your mind? And when I'm talking about programming, what type of music are you listening to? What type of TV programs are you watching? What are you listening to on the radio? What are you reading? How much time are you consuming on social media? That's all a part of your programming. So your reprogramming can be listening to this show, the Grind and Gratitude Show, listening to other podcasts. It can be listening to affirmations. It can be listening to soothing sounds. What are you doing to reprogram your mind? What types of books are you reading? What types of videos are you watching on YouTube? That is all a part of your reprogramming that is going to shut down that inner critic. The other thing we can do is we can get coaches and mentors. Find people who have what you want to have, or who've become the type of person you want to become, and see what they're doing. Follow them. Listen to them. Buy their books and their programs. Hire them as coaches if you can. But figure out what it is that they're doing that you can do that's going to help you accomplish what you want to accomplish, or become the person that you're trying to become. So when we say, I don't know how, I'm going to talk to you about that in a minute. But so often we don't have the information. And I understand, nobody knows everything. And you don't have the information because you've never done it before. But there are people out there who already have the information that you need. There's coaches, there's mentors, there's online communities of people that can support you and guide you and show you the way. So finding coaches and mentors are going to help you to quiet that inner critic. Self-reflection. How often are you taking time to pause, to calm down, to meditate, to journal, to just sit in quiet, in peace and calm, and to think about what it is that you want? How often do you do that? I know there were years I never did that until I made up my mind that I wanted to start this morning ritual. And that forced me to do those things. Self-reflection is very, very powerful because a lot of us run from very important questions that we should be asking ourselves that could really change our lives. So taking time to reflect on your situation, to say, I am here with my health, with my finances, with my relationship, in terms of my parenting, and I want to be here. And being clear about where that is, and then what is the gap? What's the gap, and what can you start doing? All of that only comes through self-reflection, through journaling, through asking yourself powerful questions. So if you want to bounce back, if you want to get back out there, if you want to achieve something you've never been able to achieve, you really got to spend time thinking about what it is that you want, why it's a must, where are you now, where do you need to go. That's all a part of self-reflection. And then another thing that we can do to conquer that inner critic, to shut down those negative voices, that limiting beliefs, is a community. Find a community, whether it's an online community, whether it's your church community, whether it's some other type of community. Find a community of people who are going to support you, who are going to hold you accountable, and who are going to challenge you to step into the greatness that you have within you. Community is very, very powerful. During the pandemic, I decided that I just wanted to go live and just start talking to people. I was struggling in my business and other areas of my life, so I just turned on the camera one day on Facebook and I said, look, who out here is struggling during the pandemic? And I started going live every day for 5 or 6 months and just talking to people. And then that turned into me starting the Champion You community. And from there, I took the Champion You community and I started going live on, what's that audio app? I can't think of it right now. I started going live on the app, and people from all over the world were tuning in because we had created this Champion You community on Clubhouse. And what I realized is that we all need to be a part of a community. We want to be a part of something bigger than ourselves, and we all need support. And for a lot of us, we're not getting that support from our partners or our families or our friends, because sometimes they just don't get what we're going through. So find a community of people to support you, and that's going to help you to shut down that inner critic. Let me know if this is good. Let me know if this is making sense to you. Let me know in the chat. Another thing that we have to do is we have to learn to forgive and let go. We got to learn to forgive and let go. So many of us are holding on to pain. We're holding on to the mistakes that we made. We're holding on to the pain that other people have inflicted upon us. And we hold on to it and we think that we're over it. We think, oh, that doesn't bother me anymore. And we don't understand that that is still blocking us from our blessings. We don't understand that we're still beating ourselves up over a mistake that we made 10 years ago, 5, 3, 15, or somebody else made against you. We have to learn to forgive and let go. And when it comes to going after your goals and your dreams, you have to learn to forgive yourself for not being successful before. You have to learn to forgive yourself for not putting in 100% effort. You have to learn to forgive yourself for not crossing the finish line on that goal or that dream. Forgive yourself. But once you forgive yourself, you got to let it go so that you can restart fresh with new information. And this is a big one. I beat myself up over so many mistakes and things I've done to other people and things that people have done to me. And it was really eating me up. And I couldn't see that it was actually blocking me. I couldn't see that it was blocking me from being in a loving relationship. I couldn't see that it was blocking me financially. I couldn't see that it was blocking me from getting my message out to the world. I couldn't see that. And once I learned to step back, to do some self-reflection, I identified that I had these blockers and these things that I had to forgive myself for and forgive other people for, let it go and release it. And once I did, it was like a new realm opened up for me. New possibilities opened up. And I think for a lot of us, we have to learn to forgive ourselves. We got to forgive ourselves. Okay, I understand maybe you did some people wrong in the past. I understand maybe you had some setbacks. I understand you tried before and you failed. I understand that maybe some people did you wrong. See, forgiveness is not necessarily, especially when it comes to you forgiving someone else, it's not about them. It's about you. Sometimes we don't want to forgive other people. Someone didn't believe in your goal or your dream, and they talked you out of it, and they talked down to you, and they made fun of you, and they clowned you, so much so that you just left that dream alone and you never went back. And then we continue to hold on to that forever. We need to learn to forgive that individual for you. You got to do it for yourself. When I started learning to forgive people, it just felt like a weight off my shoulders. It felt like I've been carrying this stuff around unknowingly for so many years, and I just felt lighter. And when I felt lighter, it's almost like I started attracting opportunities and things I couldn't see because I was still so focused on that person that did me wrong. I was still so focused on, I tried this before and I'm such a failure. When I let all that go, I started to see new possibilities. So forgiveness and letting go is very, very powerful. Now, I want to ask you, is there someone that you need to forgive, or do you need to forgive yourself for some failures and setbacks and mistakes? Let me know in the chat. Type yes or no. I'm just curious to know. Is there somebody that you have to forgive, or do you have to forgive yourself for mistakes and failures and wrongdoings? I know I have. I've had to forgive myself and others over the years. And that's just a part of life, right? That's a part of life. We can't, here's another thing that I learned as well. You cannot expect someone to believe in your goal or your dream because it's your goal or your dream, right? I don't care who it is. I don't expect my mother. I don't expect my wife. I don't expect my siblings. I don't expect my friends. I don't expect anybody to believe in my goal or my dream more than I do. Why would they? It's mine. This is what my Creator put on my heart. And so that's a part of the fear and part of the hurt and the pain is that we expect other people to believe in our goals when why should they? It's not theirs. It's yours. Now, we hope that they would support us. But like I always say, progress equals belief. You don't even believe you can do something in the beginning, so why should they? But as you start to make progress, you start to believe that you can cross the finish line. And guess what? All of those other people start to see your progress too, and they start to believe. So I think that's something that we kind of have to understand. Marcia Stone, when I asked about who do you have to forgive, she said herself, myself. Yeah, I think a lot of us do. Destiny said, it's a work in progress, but yes, I still have a good way to go. And I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. When I see people who are honest, like Marcia and Destiny, it makes me emotional because if you want to take your life to another level, if you want to change your life, if you want to achieve things you've never been able to achieve, and this is very emotional. I sent out an email to my mailing list today about this, and I said, I've been coaching people for 20 years. For 20 years, I was a job search coach, a career coach, a business coach, a life coach. I was a professional coach when I used to work in large organizations. And I was thinking about that journey and the thousands of people that I interacted with and coached over those years. And one thing remains true to this day for me. Anytime someone is openly honest about where they are, about their struggles, their setbacks, it just makes me emotional. Because there have been so many times that I lied to myself. I was comfortably uncomfortable. I stayed in a situation too long. I wasn't comfortable, but I wasn't being honest with myself. And when I started being honest with myself, it changed everything. So a big part of you taking your life to another level or breaking through these setbacks is honesty. And every time I hear someone who's honest, or every time I see someone have a breakthrough, it makes me emotional because so many of us lie to ourselves all the time. So thank you, Marcia, Destiny. I really appreciate you being honest. That's lesson number one. What is the takeaway that you had from lesson number one? Let me know what's the takeaway that you got from lesson number one. If you're listening in right now live, let me know. If you're watching the replay, type it in the comments. I'd definitely love to know what your lesson has been, a big takeaway that you have from lesson number one. And if you're listening on the Grind and Gratitude Show audio podcast, you definitely send me a message on Instagram at I am Danny Stone. I would love to know your takeaway from lesson number one. For me, going back through this, I learned that to quiet the inner critic, we have to work hard at it every single day. As I was designing this and putting this masterclass together, I was like, yeah, this is a reminder. To shut down those negative thoughts, you got to work at that every day. You got to make a conscious effort to do that. And that's with gratitude. That's what you're programming your mind with, what you're reading, who you're around. So that was, from this lesson, that was a big takeaway for me. Let me know in the chat what a big takeaway for you was from this lesson so far. Look, this is only lesson one of 3. I got 3 lessons that I'm going to teach you to help you to bounce back from a setback. This was lesson 1. I have 2 more super cool lessons that I've learned over the years from my coaches and from studying successful people. Okay. You want me to get into lesson 2? You ready for lesson 2? Let me know. Ready for lesson 2? Okay. Let's get into lesson 2 here. Lesson number 2 is clarity over confusion. Clarity over confusion. I'll get to that in a second, but let me just see what Destiny put here. Destiny said, yes, I agree, especially first thing in the morning, how important how I start the day and morning routines. Love your tips. Absolutely. We have to, the reason why, let me come back here. The reason why I believe that a morning ritual is so powerful is this. You can take control of your day. When you start your day, you have the most control over what you can do in that time. Once you get up and you start your day, you have no control over what happens. You have no control over what happens when you go to work. You have no control over what happens when you go to school. So that first 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 minutes, that's the time that you have that's within your control. And so what you do in that time can be very powerful. And if you have a morning ritual and you pray and you meditate and you exercise, all of those things are going to set you up for success. The reason why I like to do a lot of things first thing in the morning is because I don't know how the day is going to be. I can get derailed later on and never get to those things. But one thing I know for sure every single day, and it hasn't failed probably for the last 10 years, one thing that's guaranteed for me every single day is my morning ritual. I get in those things, so it doesn't matter what happens after that. I took care of myself first. So I love that, Justin. Thank you so much for sharing that. Marcia Stone said, I have to start with self-reflection and waking up with pure gratitude. Yeah. Yeah, self-reflection is powerful. It's painful. Let me tell you something about self-reflection. It's painful and powerful. I want you to type that in the chat. If you're watching right now, type that in the chat. Painful and powerful. Self-reflection is painful and powerful. If it wasn't painful, we would do it all the time, right? You would sit down and be honest with yourself all the time. Oh, I'm a little bit heavy. I'm overweight. Oh, I'm not making the money I should. I need to really take better care of my finances. We would sit down and we would just be so brutally honest with ourselves. So obviously it's painful because we don't do it all the time. But it's also powerful because it gives us information that can change our lives. So it is. Self-reflection is, as Marcia said, painful and powerful. But it's necessary if you want to take your life to a whole nother level. Okay. Lesson number 2, clarity over confusion. You're saying, Coach Stone, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about here is most people don't have what they want in their lives because they're not super clear about what it is they want in their lives. I know, it sounds kind of crazy, right? You don't have what you want because you're not clear about it. And when I say clear, I mean very clear, like you to the detail. And the only way to get very clear about what it is that you want is to write it down. And here's a little tip about setting goals. Most of us learn to set goals in a very limiting way. See, the way we set goals is, I want to have this, or I want to be this in 3 years. I'm going to do this, this, and this to make it happen. That's not how you set. That's not the most effective way to set your goals. The most effective way to set your goals is to act as if you already have it. I'm already in the best shape of my life. I'm already making $5 million a year. See, when you talk in present tense, you're starting to program your mind for success. And when you start to program your mind for success, here's the crazy thing. You start to subconsciously take action to live the reality that you program. Isn't that crazy? When I learned that, I was like, what? See, when you program your mind and you talk in present tense, right now I have the thing that I want to have. And when you go back and you look at the steps are things that you're telling yourself you already did. So if I have this physical goal that I want, I go back and I make a list of all of the things that I did. I drank 8 cups of water every single day. I got up and I worked out 5 times a week. I ate healthy 6 days a week. And you talk as if it already happened in the things that you already did. And when you start to do that, it's programming. So that's a little tip about how to effectively set goals. Most of us set them wrong. We're looking to the future when we can bring the future to the present and act as if. And when you start to act as if, now you're going to start to notice that you're doing things a lot differently than you've done before. So that's a little tip. And so when I'm talking about clarity over confusion, what do you want? Right? Most of us don't know that. And if you don't know, how can you get it? So there's 2 things that we need to do when it comes to our goals. If we want to bounce back, or we want to achieve something we've never been able to achieve. There's 2 questions we have to ask ourselves. What is it that I really want? Very clear. And why is it a must? What do I want and why is it a must? What do I want and why is it a must? And then once you get very clear about it, you write it all down as if you already have it and why it's so important to you. Why is that goal so important to you? I say this all the time. You got to make your why bigger than your whining. A lot of people love that quote. You got to make your why bigger than your whining. The reason why you want to achieve a goal or a dream has to be bigger than all of your excuses to not take action. So get very clear about what it is that you want and why it's a must. What and why. Most people aren't. As a coach, who coached thousands of people, I got people who come to me and say, hey, Coach Stone, this is what I want. I just want to make this much money in my business, or I just want this, or I just want that. And when I sit down and I say, okay, cool, let's get super clear about what it is that you want and why you want it. So often people realize that's not even what they want. They want something else. Or their why is not even their why. It's somebody else's why. So when you get very clear about what it is that you want and why you want it, it's going to change a lot for you. Because you're going to start focusing on the right things and filtering out the things that aren't going to help you to get there. The conversations, all the time that you're wasting, the people that you're around, the things that you do. You're going to start to say, well, this isn't helping me to get towards this goal, so I got to filter this out and focus or refocus. And that's what the what and the why can do for you. It can help you to get super focused on the right things and filter out the wrong things. So this should be 4 questions. 4 questions to ask yourself when you fail or you have a setback. The first one is kind of interesting. Is this really my dream? Is this really my dream? I don't know anyone who's really asked themselves that when they failed. That is a very powerful question to ask yourself. Is this really my dream? And the reason why you want to ask yourself that is because so often in life we want something because we think that we should want it. You want 2.5 kids and the picket fence and the husband because that's what society tells you. You want to make $1 million a year because someone told you you should. You want to be an entrepreneur because that's what everyone says you should do. But is it your dream? So when you fail, this is a great opportunity to ask yourself, is this really my dream? And I've had people realize, you know what? No, it wasn't. My parents wanted me to be a doctor. My wife told me to go and get this corporate job. My brother did the drop shipping thing, so he told me I should do it. Sometimes we realize it's not even our dream. The next question you can ask yourself, if it is your dream and it is a goal or something you really want, what got in the way of my success? What stopped you? What held you back? And I'm going to tell you about this in a minute, but there are some things that we have that are patterns that continue to hold us back or stop us from a big goal or a big dream over and over and over again. And so if you can identify what that is, you can avoid it the next time that you restart or the next time that you take action on another goal or another dream. So what got in the way of your success? Number 3 is, what can I learn from this and use to be successful when I restart? See, what information can you take from this? There's always a lesson in failure. What can you take away from this setback, from this failure? What can you take, use that information, and figure out a better approach? A failure gives us information. It gives us new knowledge. It gives us experience. And when you start from a place of experience, you're not starting from the same place that you were at last time. So what are you going to learn from this? What can you learn and use the next time? And then the 4th question is, what's the opportunity here? What is the opportunity here? Now you're saying, Coach Stone, an opportunity in the failure, in the setback? Yes. I remember when I dropped out of university. I didn't graduate. And I always felt some type of way about that. And I never thought that I would get a corporate job because a lot of them at the time were saying you needed a university degree. And I remember applying for all of these jobs and never getting interviews, or I'd get an interview and they would say, oh, you don't have a degree, we can't hire you. And I remember applying for this job that I really, really wanted. And I'm like, I put everything into it. I crafted my resume. I got help with my resume. I went to help somebody, got someone to help me to do it. I went all in. And for like 2 weeks, I learned everything about the company. I got called in for an interview. I went in for the interview, and I didn't get the job. And at that point, I had been applying for jobs for a long time, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months. And I was just discouraged. I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe I should just apply for lower level jobs that I'm overqualified for. I was really discouraged. And probably 2 or 3 days later, I get this interview at a college. And I was like, oh, I get a notification saying you have an interview set up. And I was like, okay, cool. And I prepared for the interview. I went in. I landed the job. And what I realized was that the job that I landed was a better situation for me than the one that I desperately wanted. It was a new opportunity. I ended up getting the job at the college as a frontline employee. Within 6 months, I moved up to a manager position. But here's the great thing about that job. Working at the college, I could take any course that I wanted for $50. See, I didn't see that. I didn't see that opportunity when I didn't get that job that I was so desperately for. When in the interview, when they told me, yeah, one of the benefits of this is that you can take any course you want for $50, I said, I got to get this job. So all of that to say is sometimes in a setback, we don't understand that setback is an opportunity for us to do something else, to pivot, to reevaluate. And you don't see it in that moment. So that's the other thing. What is the opportunity? What's the opportunity here? Marcia said, we call that meant for you situation. Absolutely. A setback creates those meant for us situations. I love that. Another tip I want to share here is, this is something that I've developed as a part of my Get It Done system. My Get It Done system is a productivity system that helps people achieve their goals faster than ever they ever thought possible. It's called the Get It Done system. And what I realized over coaching thousands of people over the years is that every time we have a new goal, we start at zero. But we don't realize that we have success patterns and failure patterns. Success patterns are the habits, the mindsets, the actions, the people that have helped us to achieve our goals in the past. And the failures are the habits, mindset, inactions, people that have caused us to fail in the past. And when you go back and you look at all of those big goals that you had where you were successful, you're going to see a success pattern. You're going to say, well, I did this, or I woke up at this time, or this person helped me. And then you're going to see the same when it comes to all the things that you weren't successful for. So you have to identify what are the patterns. And when you can identify patterns, then you can use the patterns that work for you and avoid the patterns that don't work for you. And so this is something I talk about in the Get It Done system. And when I found this out, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Nobody talks about this when it comes to your goals. A lot of us know the SMART goal system, and we know all these other goal systems, but they always act as if we're starting from a place of zero, like no knowledge, like we haven't achieved anything before. And that's not true. We have success patterns and failure patterns. And when you learn that, it's going to help you with your next goals. Your success patterns, because you're going to take the things that have worked in the past and use them again if they apply and they're applicable. And with the failure patterns, you're going to avoid the things that have stopped you in the past so that they don't come up again as future roadblocks. So success and failure patterns are very, very powerful. And if you sit down and you think about all the goals that you have when you're successful, write it down. What did I do? What was my mindset at the time? What actions did I take? And then you do the same thing for your failures, you'll start to identify a pattern, and that will be very helpful for you to bounce back when you're ready to get back and restart those goals again. Let me know in the chat if this is good for you. Let me know if this is making sense. Let me know if you're finding value in this. If you're watching the replay, leave a comment. Let me know. That was lesson number 2. Lesson number 2. So what's your takeaway from lesson number 2? I like this. This is good. I really like putting this together because it forces me to start thinking about my own failures, my own setbacks, my own goals, my mindset at the time, how I was able to push through. What did I do? What didn't I do? And this is really good because this is what we need to do. We need to give ourselves these reality checks. So what's a good takeaway or a good something that you're taking away from lesson number 2? I could say for me, obviously I'm a bit biased, but for me, one of the biggest takeaways was that there's opportunities in the failures. Because sometimes you don't see it. Maybe it didn't happen for you because it wasn't meant for you. Maybe that was a light bulb going off telling you that you need to pivot. So I think that was very powerful for me in lesson 2. And then also the success and failure patterns, because I haven't heard anybody talk about that, not in that way. And once I discovered it and developed the Get It Done system, me and my coaching clients and I were like, we were achieving goals in like record time. Goals that we thought would take like years, we were in 3 months, 6 months, whatever. So success and failure patterns is very powerful too. Marcia said, when I interviewed for positions with the government, I love that they gave you feedback on your interview if you didn't get the job. These days, employers don't tell you why you didn't get it. Yeah. And that's what feedback is so important and so powerful. Another lesson Marcia took away from this, my mom's, she said clarity of goals. Absolutely. Whenever someone tells me they have goals and they're just floating around in your head, I know that you're not crystal clear on your goals. Because there's no possible way that you can be super clear on your goals with them just floating around in your mind. You need to write them down. And as I said, in present tense, and then you go back and you say, these are all the things that I did to make me successful. And you start doing it. So I know. Whenever someone says, I know exactly what I want, if it's not written down, it's not super clear. Destiny said, my takeaway from lesson number 2 is never give up and create space for opportunities and miracles to happen. Ooh, I love the way you put that. That's so good. I really love the way you put that because that's what it is. Sometimes it is a miracle. Sometimes it's something that you never expected to just pop up and reignite that fire within you. And it's something that you never considered. There was a time I never thought I was going to quit my job and start my own business. I was going to be a corporate dude for the rest of my life. I definitely never thought I would write a book. Me, an author. I never thought I would speak on stages, get paid to speak on a stage. Me? I was a shy, timid kid. Why would anybody pay me? But that is a part of the opportunities and the miracles that happen. Marcia Stone said, I agree, Destiny. Awesome. Let's keep this moving. Got one more success tip for you. Before we jump into that, I love quotes. I tell my coaching clients this. You can have excuses, you can have results, you can't have both. That's what Arnold Schwarzenegger said. You can't have both. So which one do you want? Some people are so married and tied to their excuses. Oh, I'm big boned, I'm overweight, I can't do this. I wish I could. I don't have the energy. There's not enough time in the day. That's one of my favorites. Not enough time in the day. We all have 24 hours. It's how are you using that 24 hours? And, one of the things that I do with my coaching clients, especially when they say they don't have enough time in the day, that's one of the biggest excuses people make. We do a time audit. So I go, okay, track how you spend your time over the next 2 or 3 days. And when they look at their time, they see about 3, 4, 5 hours of them just doing nothing where they could be taking action on their goals and their dreams. So you can have excuses and you can have results, but you cannot have both. I love that. Lesson number 3. Who, not how. Who, not how. See, this is a big one because a lot of us say, well, Coach Stone, I don't know how to start a business. I don't know how to write a book. I don't know how to lose weight. I don't know how to be a great parent. I don't know how to be a great partner. I don't know how. And because you don't know how, you get discouraged and you quit on that thing or you suffer through it. Well, it's never about how. We have access to all the information that we ever needed in our lives. And in fact, there's this book. It's called Who, Not How by Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. This book right here, it talks about, it's never about you not knowing how to do something because there's already people who've done it. So what you need to do is find the people who are already doing it, who already have what you have, who've already become what you want to become, and follow them. Do what they're doing. Get their courses, their programs, their books. Follow them. And then you start to mimic what they're doing and adapt it so that it suits you. So it's never about not having enough information. That's not what it's about. Okay? Questions will change your life. I say this all the time. I love Tony Robbins, but one of the things that Tony Robbins says is the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask yourself. Most of us aren't asking ourselves questions that are going to challenge us and move us forward. If you want your life to change, you've got to start asking yourself more powerful questions. So when you're stuck, or when you fail, 2 of the questions you can start with is, who's already doing this? Who's already doing what you want to do? Find them. Search them. Find out who's already doing what you want to do. And then you can also ask, who already has what I want to have? Who has what you want to have? If you can, talk to those individuals. Follow them. See what they're doing. But it's never just about your own knowledge and information and resources. The internet is limitless. So find your who's. Find those people that you need to connect with who can show you the way. Who's already doing what you want to do? Who already has what you want to have? Another question. Who do you need to become to get what you want? This right here? This right here. So there's a reason why sometimes we make progress on a goal or a dream and we fall out. And it's because we haven't made that identity shift. And I think I was saying this, I don't know if I was saying it to my mom, or I don't know if I was saying it to somebody else. But I think maybe someone else. Somebody said, I don't know, we were talking one time and someone said something about, they were counting down the days. They're like, yeah, I've been 5 months clean from not smoking or something like that. I haven't been smoking for 5 months. And I said, okay, that's cool. So are you planning on smoking again? And they said, no, I quit. I quit smoking 5 months ago. I'm not. It's been 5 months and so ever long. And I said, well, if you don't plan on smoking again, why are you counting the days? Because you haven't taken on the identity of a non-smoker. Someone who doesn't smoke just says, hey, I'm not a smoker. Right? That's I don't identify as a smoker. That's my identity. Someone who's healthy identifies as someone who's healthy. So when you ask them, oh, what do you eat or what do you do? They're going to say, I exercise, I drink a lot of water, I eat my vegetables because I identify as someone who's healthy. The problem with most of us is when we take action on a goal or a dream, we get temporary success because we haven't become the person that we need to become to make it happen. We haven't changed our identity. That's why when I was going to the gym and I started making some progress, and then I would fall off and gain the weight back and stuff, I didn't change my identity. See, I had always been an athlete. I played basketball my entire life. I played soccer and other things. So in my mind, I had always been an athlete. Long after I stopped playing those sports in university, I identified as an athlete. But I got away from that identity, and that's why I started putting on all this weight. So when I came back to this 5 months ago, I said, Coach Stone, you're an athlete. You're fit. You're somebody who's healthy. And I had to start saying that to myself because that's the person I need to become. That's the identity I need to take on. And that was 5 months ago. And when I took on that identity, I've lost weight. I'm starting to get in the best shape of my life because I realized who I needed to become to make this happen. So who do you need to become to make your goal a reality or your dream a reality? Who do you need to become? What new identity do you have to start to form to make that dream your reality? Do you have to see yourself as an athlete? Do you have to see yourself as a successful business owner? Do you have to see yourself as an amazing parent? Do you have to see yourself as a phenomenal partner? And when you start to see that, when you start to understand who you need to become, then you can start to identify all of the things that you need to do to become that person. This makes sense to you all? When I figured this out, I was like, woo, that's why I have temporary success. That's why I make a little bit of progress and fall off track. I haven't become the person I need to become to sustain, to keep it going. When I figured that out, I was like, okay, I get it now. And that's why figuring out the people who already have what you have, now you can start to kind of base your identity on them, right? Okay, see, this person does that. This is what they do. This is what they have. Okay, what are some of the things that they did? So, okay, now that's what I need to do. Okay, I need to take on the same identity. I see myself as a successful business owner making $5 million a year. I need to start doing this. When I realized that, then it started to make sense. So I said, yeah, it makes sense. So think about who you need to become to get what you want. And it will be more of a permanent shift. It's not going to be, I'm in and out, I'm in and out. The other question is, what habits do you need to develop to become that person or achieve that goal? So now you kind of know, okay, I need to be more like this person. I need to be more like someone who's healthy. I need to be more like someone who's great, more financially stable. I need to be more like someone who's a great business owner. So now, looking at that person or discovering that identity, what new habits do you need to develop to become that person? What do they do? How do they wake up? How do they handle setbacks? What's their mindset? What are they reading? What are they watching? What type of people do they surround themselves with? What are the affirmations that they say to themselves? When you start to dig deep, now you'll start to see the habits, and you can start to form these habits yourself. By the way, a lot of people think it takes 30 days to form a habit. I think it was Stanford did a study, and it's actually 66 days for something to kind of become automatic. So 66 days it takes for a habit. So that's something for you to think about. What new habits do I need to develop to become the person I need to become to create the life that I want, to unleash my potential, to serve more people, Think about that. That was number 3. That was tip number 3. Any lessons? What lessons or takeaways do you have from number 3? I really believe that self-reflection and asking yourself powerful questions and really being honest with yourself is the key to unlock opportunities, potential, impact greater than you can imagine. Once I started getting honest with myself, brutally honest, very difficult to do that. It changed my life in so many ways. You might be saying, all right, Coach Stone, that's great for you. It wasn't just me. It was a lot of my coaching clients as well. There's something about clarity. There's something about asking yourself powerful questions that when you dig deep, and here's the thing, when I say ask yourself these questions, I'm not saying that you're even going to get the answer right away. You might not get the answer for weeks or months, but continue to ask yourself the same questions over and over again and to write down the answers and be honest with yourself. And it's going to open up things that you didn't see before. You'll start to see things that you didn't even realize were there. So be honest with yourself. Ask yourself powerful questions. Do that self-reflection and that inner work. Write things down and continue to ask yourself these questions over and over and over again until those answers come to you. That was a big takeaway I had from lesson number 3. What's the takeaway that you had from lesson number 3? Marcia Stone said, you have to find out what you need to become successful with your goals and follow others that have the success that you want. Yeah. It seems kind of obvious, but I just think that a lot of us, when we have a goal or a dream, we think it's just about the knowledge and information that we have. We don't understand that there's so many other people out there who are already doing it. So why start at 0 when we can start at 5 or 4 or 3 or 7? They already have the blueprint. And a lot of it is just buying their books and their programs and their courses, hiring them as coaches, and that will supercharge your success. I'm going to open it up for any questions that you may have, any comments. I have one more thing for you that's really going to help you. It's going to help you to speed all of this up. It's going to help you to ask yourself powerful questions. It's going to help you to get clear about what you want. It's going to help you to get focused on the right thing. I got one other thing I'm going to show you in a minute, but I'm just going to pause here for any questions or any comments that you may have. Marcia said, I know that's how you get, I know that's how you got the mentors you have. Definitely. I reach out to people. What's really interesting about the internet and social media is this. Sometimes I reach out to people that are highly successful on a high level, and I just talk to them like regular people, and they actually respond. I just speak to them like regular people. I'll say, hey, I really like that podcast episode, or I like that quote that you had. You know what? That's something that's similar to what my grandmother used to say. I just talk to people like normal people. I'm not saying they always respond, but I've had some, people who are thought leaders in their field and in their sphere, and well-known authors and coaches and business people respond to my direct messages just because I just talk to them like real people and I just ask them real questions. And yeah, I acknowledge, the value that they give, but it doesn't hurt to reach out to people, to ask them for advice and guidance. It doesn't hurt to follow somebody. It doesn't hurt to buy their books and their courses and their programs and to share them with other people publicly. None of that hurts. You're helping yourself at the same time. I have one more thing that I want to share with you that's going to help you to, really supercharge all of this. If you want me to share it with you, let me know. If not, I won't share it. Or she said that's how networking works. Yeah, that's what it is. Networking is really just about connecting with like-minded people who are going in the same direction you're going. When I say same direction, sometimes that can be just mindset. They think like you think, the same values, the same beliefs, or it can be, a connection on your goals and the dreams that you have. But that's what networking is. Destiny said, yes, please, let's share. Okay, I'm going to share this with you all. So what I know is this. What I learned is we need to speed up our success. And the way to speed up your success is to get courses, programs, coaching mentors who already have what you want. And I decided last week that I wanted to put together this bundle. Last week I put together a bundle. It was a one-time offer. And this week I said, you know what? I'm going to bring that same offer back. It looks a little bit different. But this is what I offer. You have the Keys Now Drive course bundle. You get 5 things in one. Now, You Have the Keys Now Drive is based on my best-selling book with the same name. 2014, I put out this book called You Have the Keys Now Drive. I started helping people all over the globe in probably 6, 7, 8 different countries achieve things that they've never been able to achieve. A lot of people kept asking me, hey, Coach Stone, you should put this in the course. So I did. So what I decided was I want to offer this bundle. But here's what you get. First of all, the You Have the Keys Now Drive course, it's step-by-step videos and worksheets that guide you through how to get clear about what it is that you want in all areas of your life, how to get focused on your why, how to develop your own personal roadmap to get what you want, how to handle setbacks and procrastination. So many of us struggle with those two things. How to develop a winning mindset so that you can push through difficulties. And I'm going to guide you to focus on the right things so that you can move forward and filter out the wrong things. So you get all of that in the You Have the Keys Now Drive course. It's all of these different modules. You get worksheets, step-by-step instructions. The videos are short and powerful. You get that in this bundle. Let me tell you about Michelle real quick. Michelle was a coaching client of mine. I was doing some business coaching and advising with her. She focuses on the space of disability, so she helps organizations, set up themselves for success when it comes to working, making sure they're compliant with disability. And Michelle and I were talking, and she was struggling with sharing a bit of her story. She's like, Coach, I don't know if I can share my story. I don't know how it's going to be received. I don't know how it's going to be helpful. So she had to push through this fear of sharing her story and what people would say. So I taught Nicole some of these strategies that I lay out here in You Have the Keys Now Drive course. She decided that she was going to share a piece of her story on LinkedIn in a post. So she posted a piece of her story on LinkedIn. I believe it was either that same day or within a day or two, somebody reaches out to her, talks about how powerful that share was, and they ask her to come and speak on a stage. That happened within days of her changing her mindset around, shifting her mindset around what's possible. And so that's some of the stuff that I teach in this You Have the Keys Now Drive course. I teach you how to push through that limiting mindset and those negative thoughts to get what you want. And now she's spoken on at least 2 or 3 stages since she started sharing her story. Another coaching client of mine, Tyrone. Tyrone's super cool. Tyrone has a music therapy. He has a music therapy school. He has a music therapy school. He has about maybe 12 or 13 people working for him. And what he does is he uses music as therapy to help people who have, different types of mental health challenges or people who've gone through traumatic situations. And so when he came to me, he's like, Coach Stone, I really want more freedom. I love my business and I love what I do, but I want to be able to travel and make sure my business is up working at the same time. But I don't know anything. Like that's not my thing. I'm not really that type of business owner. So I had to work with him to break through limiting beliefs. He had tried it before. It didn't quite work out. And so we worked together and we created these systems that he put in place in his business. And a couple of months ago, he sends me a message. He says, "Hey, Coach Stone, I just wanted to let you know I'm working out of Colombia. I'm in the country of Colombia, working remotely right now for the next, I think it was 2 months, while the business was back in Canada operating." So I taught him how to break through these things, to dream bigger, because he never thought this was possible. These are some of the things that you're going to learn in the You Have the Keys Now Drive course. So for me, I've charged up to $1,500 for 1 hour of coaching. That's the most I've charged. I'm not acting like I charge this all the time. That's not my usual fee. But I have charged a few people up to $1,500 for 1 hour of coaching. That's what I charge. But this You Have the Keys Now Drive course bundle consists of 5 different packages. You get the You Have the Keys Now Drive course. You get the Get It Done system, which is that productivity and goal achievement system, teaching you how to achieve your goals faster. You get the Winning Mindset bundle, which is 2 hours of audio of me and other coaches talking about how to change your mindset. That comes with a workbook. You get the Expert Positioning audio. So anyone out there who wants to position themselves as an expert, who want to make a greater impact in the world, who want to be on stages and speak and get TV appearances, if you have a business and you want to learn to position yourself as the go-to expert, you're going to get that bundle, which is 2 hours of audio, me and other experts talking, and you get worksheets. And then I'll throw in a digital copy of my book. So you get all of this. You Have the Keys Now Drive course is valued at $497. You get the Get It Done Productivity and Goals Achievement System, which is valued at $297. You get the Winning Mindset bundle, $97. The Expert Positioning bundle, $97. And a digital copy of my book, which is $15. All of that comes to $1,003. But here's the thing. I was talking to my coach on Monday, and he told me that I'm crazy. He's like, "Coach Stone, this is worth way more than $1,003. This is worth at least $2,500. And he told me that I have to readjust my value on all these things. So according to my coach, this is worth $2,500 package right here. So here's the thing. I'm not going to sell it to you for $1,000. I'm not going to sell you $2,500. I'm going to sell this package for $497 today. And I do mean probably in the next 72 hours, this price is going away, and it's definitely going to go up because there's just so much value in this. The things that people have gotten from taking these courses and these programs, I mean, people have quit their jobs and started businesses. They went from, being an introvert to speaking on stages, to being on TV, to making more money than they were making in their jobs. All from everything that I teach in this course, in this bundle. So if you go to championu.net/course, championu.net/course, in the next 72 hours, you can grab this for $497. Here's what you get. You also get, as a bonus, the Get It Done system. This is the system that I developed, that I work with all of my coaching clients with. We supercharge our success when it comes to our goals. It's a daily productivity system. It teaches you step by step how to set meaningful goals, what you need to do every day, how to overcome procrastination and setback, the real way to set goals. And then I teach you those 2 secret tips around success and failure patterns. That's valued at $297. You Have the Keys Now Drive course. You're going to learn how to start and end your day with more peace, calm, clarity, and focus. You get a framework for overcoming limiting beliefs and negative self-talk. You get to learn how to get clear about what it is that you really want in your life. You learn about how to get what you want and make your goals a reality, how to find meaning and purpose, and how to fight through fear and take action. The Winning Mindset Bundle, again, that's 2 hours of audio, coaching, fillable worksheets. It's going to help you to nail your niche and to stand out in your industry. That's $97 value. And then the Winning Mindset is 2 hours of audio with myself and other guest experts and coaches, giving you frameworks to help you develop a winning mindset. That's valued at $97. So all of this, you get all of this for $497 for the next 72 hours. This isn't one of those things where I fake like the price is going up. The price is going up. It went up since last week. It's going to go up again. So if you're interested, if you have any questions, let me know. Leave a comment here, or you can DM me on Instagram at I am Danny Stone, and I'll answer your questions. You can go to championu.net/course for that course bundle, and you get instant access. So you log in, you get instant access to all 5 of those digital products and courses right away. That is it. That's what I have for you today. I hope this masterclass has been helpful. I hope there's something that you've learned. I hope there's something that you've taken away from this. I just wanted to put together this bundle because I just think that it can help people. I know it can help people. What I've put together in this bundle, I've taught lots and lots of people, and they paid thousands of dollars for this. And so I know it works. And it's worked for me, it's worked for my coaching clients, it's worked for my wife, who went from an admin assistant to a TV guest expert with over 55 TV appearances, speaking on stages. It's worked for a lot of my coaching clients, and it can work for you. Any questions that you have, I'll answer your questions now. Let me know. If you're watching this on the replay, please ask any questions that you have in the chat. If you're listening on the Grind and Gratitude show on the audio, just come over to Instagram. I am Danny Stone, and can ask you questions there. Any final questions that you have for me? Let me know if this has been valuable. If you want me to continue to do these master classes, I'm going to keep doing them if you want them. If you don't, that's okay. Marcia Stone said, I'll be promoting this for sure. Glad to hear that you have a coach as well. Thank you for sharing. Absolutely. I think coaches need coaches. So I definitely have 2 different coaches for different things, and they help me in different areas in my life and my business. And I think it's important to have a coach, especially if you're a coach. That is it, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Grind and Gratitude Show live. I am Danny Stone, also known as Coach Stone, is in the building. Your breakthrough coach, helping you break through limiting beliefs, negative thoughts, so you can unleash your potential and create the life that you want. That's it for now. I'll catch you in the next live.